Insta360's new X5 is being hailed as the latest and greatest 360-degree camera. But how does it compare to the previous model, the X4, and is it really going to be worth upgrading? I've been using Insta360 cameras for about 4 years now, and I'm not going to hide it, I'm a big fan. This time last year they launched their X4 and I thought it was fantastic, mainly because it had some really good image quality. Now fast forward to today and they are launching this, the X5, and they're already claiming that it has some big improvements over the X4. Now as far as I can tell, this boils down to 3 big improvements, so today I'm going to look at what those improvements are and ask the question, is it really worth upgrading? So as usual, this is where I need to do a little bit of a disclaimer. Yes, Insta360 are sponsoring this video, but as usual, I'm going to try and present the facts as objectively as I possibly can so that you can make up your own mind and decide if this is the camera for you or not. Essentially, the X5 is more or less the same style of camera as the X4, and indeed all of the other previous models, in the sense that it uses 2 lenses, one at the front and one at the back. And each of these lenses shoots a 180-degree field of view. And then the clever software stitches these 2 shots together to form an all-round 360-degree view. And of course, it can also use what they call the invisible selfie stick. So basically, you screw the selfie stick into the bottom of the camera, film what you need to film, and then the clever software erases the selfie stick so that it looks like the camera's just floating in air or somebody's filming you from a third-person view. As for the form factor, the X5 is only slightly taller than the X4, but it's also more or less the same width, so there's not a massive difference in it. Weight-wise, the X5 weighs 200 grams with a card and a battery, whereas the X4 weighs 203 grams. So again, there's not a whole lot of difference in it. And as for cross-compatibility of accessories, the X5 does have the universal 1/4-20 mount at the bottom, so you can screw in the invisible selfie stick or indeed use any other regular camera accessory like a tripod, for instance. Unfortunately though, that's as far as the compatibility goes, because things like batteries, cases and even lens guards won't transfer from any of the previous Insta360 cameras to the X5. For me, the single most important feature of any camera has to be the image quality, and Insta360 are claiming that the X5 has a better image quality than the X4, and that's thanks to the new larger sensor. The X4 has a 1/2 inch sensor and the X5 has a new larger 1/1.28 inch sensor. Now I have to confess here that even though I've been a professional cameraman for nearly 30 years, I still don't understand these numbers. Basically, all it means is that the X5 has a larger sensor than the X4, and that means it's going to have a better image quality. So let's just put that to the test and take both cameras out and compare them side by side, or at least as best I can. So to ensure that this test is as fair and as accurate as possible, I'm going to be shooting with both cameras using exactly the same settings. So they're both shooting in 8K, and I know that might sound like a lot, but bear in mind that that 8K image is going to be spread over a 360-degree field of view. So it's not like a regular action camera, say, shooting in 4K. I'm also shooting in 25p using auto white balance, auto exposure, and I've also set the image sharpness to medium.
as regular viewers of this channel will know, I'm actually a cyclist, and I use the Insta360 cameras to film many of my ride vlogs. So this is what typical cycling shots will look like using the X5. Afternoon.
Another advantage of a larger sensor is better low light performance, and this is where the X5 has an advantage over the X4. The X5 has a new shooting mode called Pure Video, and this is dedicated to shooting in low light. So again, let's take both cameras out and see how well they do in a low light environment. So again, just for reference, I'll be shooting with the X5 in pure video mode, but because the X4 just doesn't have it, I'm having to rely on regular video mode, but I will be keeping the settings exactly the same. So again, shooting in 8K at 25p using auto white balance, auto exposure, and the image settings to medium sharpness. Another new feature on the X5 is what they're calling Instaframe mode. So basically what happens here is that the X5 will simultaneously shoot two video files, a flat MP4 and a regular 360 video file that you can take into the app and edit later. And this is particularly good if you're, say, not all that confident using the Insta360 app, or if you just quickly want to get a video file out to your socials. So Instaframe mode works like this. There are two options. There's the selfie view and the fixed view. In selfie view, the camera uses AI to lock on to the nearest person, and then it reframes the shot so that that person is always in the center. Fixed view, on the other hand, keeps the field of view pointing in the same direction. So that can be forwards, backwards, either side, top or bottom, or custom. And you can do that by selecting the area on the screen on the front of the camera. Up until now, the lenses on 360-degree cameras have been notoriously fragile. They've been very, very easy to scratch, and if you are unlucky enough to do that, then basically that's the camera written off. Now, the new X5 not only has a special coating on the lenses to make them extra durable, but if you do scratch them, they are replaceable. It's not the end of the world. Now, unfortunately, the lens replacement kit doesn't come as standard with the camera. It's an optional extra that you have to buy separately. Now, at the moment, I don't have any pricings for that, but hopefully by the time this video goes live, there will be further information in the link in the description. So the obvious big burning question is it worth upgrading to the X5 if you already have the X4? Now, I've been using the X5 for a couple of days now, and yes, I can see that the image quality is better than the X4, but I would say it's not significantly better, and therefore I personally probably wouldn't invest the extra cash to get an X5 if I've already got an X4. As for the Instaframe mode, well, I can see how that would be pretty useful if you're walking around using the selfie stick and vlogging like that, but again, I have to admit that when I've been trying to film on the bike using the Instaframe mode, it's been a little tricky, and I found it very hard to frame myself quite the way I want. The interchangeable lenses, on the other hand, is something that could be very interesting. I personally am on my third X4 now because, yeah, I've just scratched the lenses a couple of times. So if I had an X5 and scratched the lenses, it would just be very reassuring to know that I could replace those myself and the camera wasn't completely written off. But that said though, if you've got one of the previous models, so like the X3 or the 1X2 for instance, then I think the X5 is a significant upgrade and definitely worth the investment. At the end of the day though, I think it's just going to boil down to you, your use case scenario for the camera, and yeah, how much spare cash you've got kicking around. If you'd like any further information on the X5 or the lens replacement kit or the accessories or indeed any other camera, I'll leave a link to the Insta360 website in the description below. In the meantime, thank you for watching and I'll see you on the next one.